Hey Explorers, and welcome back to Pip Explores. This week we're talking about call outs. So there are a ton of different things you could call this, but a call out in general is a person you tell about an adventure before you go on it that's going to be making sure that you get back safely and that there are no problems. Whenever you are going outside, if you're going on a short day hike, if you're going on a cave trip, if you're going rock climbing, if you are going outside, you should have a call out. This might not be a popular way of thinking. It doesn't have to be anything complicated, but someone should know where you are and all of the things that we're going to discuss just in case something happens. I know we all want to believe that our adventures are going to go off perfectly, but sometimes they don't. I have a whole book of rescues downstairs that literally lays out like, here are things that have gone wrong. And a lot of the times you can be as prepared as possible and as ready as possible, and sometimes bad things still happen. So we want to make sure that somebody knows like where we are in case that does happen. So when you ask somebody to be your call out, this can be a roommate, a partner, a parent, somebody who lives with you, somebody who lives nearby, anything, anybody that you know really can be your call out. Somebody who is available to check in on you. That's all that the requirement is. And there are certain things that you should tell them before you go. So pick a person, call your mom, and make sure that they know these things. The most important thing that you need to tell them is where you're going and be specific. So don't just say, hey, I'm going for a hike at the state park. Say, hey, I'm going to go hike this trail at this state park. I'm planning on being there in about an hour because I won't have cell service once I'm there. I'm going to park in this parking lot. You must be specific. If you're a caver, if you're setting up a call out, if you have a general idea of where the trip you're about to go on is, going in the cave, tell your call out. Say, I'm going to this cave. Our plan is to try to get to this room, but if it's flooded, our backup is to go here. Give the person an idea, because if you need a rescue, if something happens, law enforcement and search and rescue people need a place to start. And that place to start is the information you give your call out. So be as specific as possible. Obviously, you can't be like, I'm going to do this passage. And then, things happen. It's an adventure. Obviously, you don't have like a step-by-step itinerary of every single step you're going to take. And things change. But it's better to have a general idea of where you are than be like, I don't know, they said they were going caving. Don't know what cave. Don't know where it is. Be helpful. Be specific. The second thing you need to tell them is, who are you with? If there are 8 people on a trip, you should tell your call out, there are 8 of us. This is who's on the trip. Because again, in the unlikely situation, unfortunate situation that you need a rescue, you need somebody to come help. If they get to you and they find 5 people and they don't know that there are 8, maybe you guys haven't eaten, maybe you've forgotten, maybe somebody got hit in the head. It's very possible that the other 3 could be forgotten about. And we want to make sure everybody makes it home safe. So make sure you tell your call out how many people are with you, who's with you. And then once you get to your adventure spot, depending on if you have cell signal and what your first text said, you're going to say, all right, I'm starting my hike. All right, we are going underground now. ETA, 4 hours from now. If we're not out by dinner, call somebody. And we'll get to that in a second. So give them an estimated idea of when you should be done. This is going to vary depending on activity. Maybe you're going backpacking for 3 days and you're like, hey, I'm not going to have cell signal really for the next 3 days. This is my hiking plan. This is where I'm planning on camping. If I'm not back in 3.5 days, something's wrong. You have to give yourself a little wiggle room for stuff to go wrong that you can handle. But again, in the case that you can, give somebody an idea of when to expect you. When should they get that text? And then once you are out, I keep saying out because typically I'm caving. So once you're done caving or you're back at your car from your hike, or you've gotten cell signal when you're backpacking, you know, any of those things. Maybe you have a spot device, and so every night you check in with your call out. Made it to my campsite, like, see you tomorrow, turning my spot off. You know, whatever it is, once you're done, make sure your call out knows and say, hey, we're out at the cave, we had a great trip, like, thanks for, like, keeping an eye on us. Hey, back to my car for my hike. You know, let them know that their responsibility is now over. You've made it out of, you've finished your adventure. Now, if you're asked to be a call out, seems like a lot of pressure. You're like, oh no, what do I need to do? So the main thing you have to do is keep an eye on the time. If they say, you know, we should be out by dinner, and dinner's at 6 o'clock, pay attention to when it's 6 o'clock. Keep an eye on the time. Part of the stress of being a call out is that you have to know at what point you call somebody else. And you don't want to wait too long because, again, somebody could be hurt and waiting on a rescue and unable to get one. But you also don't want to jump the gun. If it's 6:01 and they haven't called, give them a little bit. You know, they could have just gotten out. They could be, like, you know, getting their mud off. They could be trying to find cell signal at their car. Give them a little bit of grace while keeping in mind that your purpose is to alert people should they be hurt. My next thing, some people might not agree, is the responsibility of a call out, but if I'm ever a call out, this is what I would do next. If my people are overdue, I would go investigate. So if I'm the call out for some friends caving and they're not out yet, they should have been out an hour ago, they're not out yet, I'm in my car driving to the cave. Are they just overdue? Or, like, is this more serious? Is somebody hurt? I don't know if you guys know, but outdoors people aren't the best at keeping track of time. It's one of my personal pet peeves. But you have, again, you have to, like, keep that in your head when you're doing this. So, drive to the cave, drive to the trailhead. Maybe they're at their car trying to get cell signal. Maybe they're, you know, in the lodge talking to somebody. And again, sometimes we don't have cell signal, so it's hard to, like, get a hold of somebody. But at this point, you're starting to be active. You're starting to reach out. Hey, like, are you back to your car? I haven't heard anything. Hey, if I haven't heard anything in 20 minutes, I'm driving, you know, the 20 minutes to the state park to check on you. Hey, I can't find you. So at this point, you're at the cave, you're at the trailhead. There are cars there, they're not. Nobody's seen them. You've done all you can do as one person, and now it's time to raise the alarm. And this might differ depending on your, you know, area, where they are, where in the world you are, because I live in the United States, so obviously, like, we have different protocols. But at this point, when you cannot get a hold of them, you cannot find them, you have, you know, done everything you can do by yourself, you have to alert somebody. Somebody could be calling 911. It could be, you know, going to the state park or the national park, like, office and being like, hey, my friends went on this hike. They were supposed to be back 2 hours ago. They're still not back. We need to start a rescue. We need to find out where they are. And this is where all that information comes in handy. You can say, this is the trail they were planning on doing. This is how many people there were. This is their level of skill. You probably know that. You're their friend or family member. If you're a caver, at this point, it's the time to call the National Cave Rescue Commission in your area and be like, hi, never wanted to make this call, but we need a rescue. And again, now you have that information. They're in this cave in this area, this many people. This is how overdue they are. Again, hopefully the answer is just, you know, they got turned around. They lost track of time. But sometimes it's a rock fell and trapped somebody's legs and they can't get it off because it's huge. You know, sometimes the answer is they're lost. And while we want to believe our adventures are going to go well and we're not going to need this and no one's ever going to have to do this, better have a plan and not need it than need it and not have the plan. I would say in the United States, if you have to call 911, your next phone call needs to be to local law enforcement. A lot of the times, your local park rangers, firefighters, those people are going to have more connections and know more people and know the area a lot better than maybe the big city dispatcher, especially on like where to allocate those resources or where to even, begin. So that is our brief rundown of what a call out is, why a call out's important, what you should do if you're a call out. Please tell me in the comments that you always have a call out, or at least, you might not call it that. You have a backup person. You have someone who knows where you are when you're out adventuring. Please adventure safely. I hope that this was helpful. If you haven't heard of a call out before, maybe now you can start using them. If you guys have any questions about this or other outdoors things, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at Piff Explores. Don't forget to check out the website, piffexplores.com, and we will see you next week. Bye!